On this show, you'll find inspiration, motivation, and advice from experts, as well as valuable tips on how to get started or improve your business. Let's dive into how you can begin and grow your wisdom business. Inspiring others looks different for everyone. How will you inspire? Welcome to the Wise Dome podcast, and today we're chatting with Kristen Jones. Kristen, welcome to the podcast today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's lovely having you. And you know what? Our audience need to know who you are and why you do what you do. So do share how you got started in your field of knowledge sharing.
Yeah, so my name is Kristen Jones. I am in middle of US in South Dakota. Currently, my husband's in the military, and I am a spiritual business coach for healers and intuitive quantum healer. So part of what I do in my big mission is to support healers, light workers, and soulpreneurs to strip away all of the fears, the limiting beliefs, the imposter syndromes, the weight that is carrying them down so they can liberate themselves and step into their power. And what this does for them is so they can relaunch their businesses and expand their businesses to the next level and really be able to support their soulmate clients at a level of which they know that they're the work that they know that they're here to do as well.
Yeah. And why are you doing what you're doing? How did you get into this?
Yeah, so it's a really strange story, but I'm sure, as you know, like when you look back, when you get to some point in your business, you look back and you start to see all the stepping stones and how they got you to where you are today. Yeah. And that's very similar to myself. I've been an online entrepreneur for, 10 years or more. And I actually started out in really the health and fitness industry where I was doing network marketing. Mm-hmm. And I really loved it. I had a passion. I still have a passion for really supporting people in their lives in some way, shape, or form. And for me, there was this realization that I was also supporting people in life coaching as well. Mm-hmm. Because when I was supporting them with their health and their fitness journey, of course, life was happening. Of course, different things were coming up for them. And so I really felt like these things went in tandem. And when I got to this point, when I want to say it was in about 2018, where I just realized it just wasn't enough. Like I didn't feel like I was able to really help everyone, the depths that I really wanted to help them. And so I went through what's called the spiritual awakening, which is like you kind of have this moment of, who am I? What am I doing? Yeah. Is what I'm doing enough? And I just allowed myself to retreat, to give myself this opportunity to really heal myself, heal the anxiety and the depression that I had been carrying. Right. I got super, super clear and started to discover different healing modalities like Reiki. I stepped into Oracle card readings. I got certified in NLP. Several different styles of Reiki and all of these different healing modalities. And then I was like, okay, what feels good for me to be able to support the souls that I know that I'm here to support. And for me, that looked like stepping into spiritual life coaching, which evolved to today, where I'm spiritual business coaching, supporting specifically healers. And so, yeah, there was like this really beautiful evolution of aha moments and awarenesses and allowing myself to transform and pivot where it felt aligned to pivot without that resistance, because that's what felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds lovely. And, it's one of those, we all have those moments in life, isn't it? Like even through, teenagehood, you realize, oh, actually, anymore, or all those moments with little life lessons that you learn. But as you get older, isn't it interesting how those aha moments seem to have more of an effect, because we seem to be more in tune with, hang on a minute, let's really try and understand why we're, experiencing this right now, to sort of go, okay, that's a direction I probably should be going in. And it's so nice that you took that direction of there's a lot of coaches out there and mentors and so forth that will help business, and they're doing fantastic jobs, with helping businesses, but taking it at that level of the why, the real
Yeah.
why, and that spiritual side of things. That's really, really important. And I don't claim to know a lot of people out there, but those who I do know, there aren't many that I've seen out there that do this. So it's nice to know that you sort of tap into that area as well. What's the biggest challenge that you've come across, though, as you've been building this business up? Because actually, maybe we should take a step back, really. When you decided to do this, how did you go about in building up, the clientele, or getting that your name out there and building that trust?
Yeah, I love that so much. So, and I love also what you said, by the way, about the piece of there's not a lot of like to the why, because I feel
Mm,
that it is important for us to be supported and understand why we're doing what we're doing in that subconscious mind,
yeah.
and allowing ourselves to neutralize and free ourselves, really liberate ourselves.
Mm,
As far as like the pivoting goes, I really feel that when it comes to stepping into that space, there was just an evolution of sharing. For me, I was already sharing online, so
yeah.
I really had to do that inner work and that healing for myself to get out of my own way, of my own fears of stepping into this space and being like, okay, I'm going to start talking about spirituality now, and I know it's probably going to ruffle some feathers, and some
Yeah.
people are going to be like, wait a second, this isn't why I was following this chick, but
Yeah.
here we are. And I
Yeah.
just had to give myself that permission to just take that leap of faith and just start talking about it. And it was interesting what happened, because I feel that sometimes we make a really big deal about pivoting and really it's not a big deal,
Yeah. Yeah.
where it's like, sure, there is a flow that happens and not everyone seems to care as much as we think that they care. But
Yeah.
there were these silent whispers that I kept hearing of, hey, me too. Like, hey, I've been noticing these things too. Or, oh, I've been curious about these as well. It's really cool that you're talking about that now. And there was just an evolution that happened within that. And so I just showed up and allowed myself to be unapologetically me and just
Mm,
share.
good. That's good. And this that is so common, isn't it? A lot of us are just like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know, how are they going to see this? How are they going to see this? But you know what? Like you said, find your souls. When you said
Mm.
before about finding who, we all need to, we're not going to please everybody. And those who are on the same wavelength as you, are on the same journey as you, or on the same sort of direction and understanding as you, they're the ones who are going to get, the magnet's going to work. But otherwise, you can't please everybody. God, no. So taking to the next question, which was, what has been the biggest challenge you've come across in actually really pushing this business online, helping people?
Yeah, that's a really great question. The thing that comes to me first is the biggest challenge would be taking all of the ideas I have and taking them from like outer space where they're like in ideation and
Yeah.
bringing to a grounded space where I can actually get them out into the world. When I say grounded, I just mean like they're actually formable ideas where you can put them into a program or coaching or, services, whatever is aligned for
Mm.
you as a business owner. And so that has been the biggest challenge for me, is like taking all of these pieces and gaining that clarity and putting them into programs and coaching and services and packages and things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. And going through that process, how did you bring them all in from the
I
universe?
think that, yeah, I love that. I think the biggest thing for me is following the joy. Like, there's going to be all kinds of ideas, and some of them are ready to go now. And others are like, okay, maybe I need to grow into this, or maybe this isn't like, sounds really cool and exciting, but this thing, I'm so excited to talk about this thing. So let's pull this down. Let's get clear on this. These other things can take space in my Evernote or the notes section on my phone, and allow them to grow, and I'll come back to them. And getting what feels aligned and following that joy to put that out into the world. That I feel that the joy, like we chose to do this. We chose to have our own business. So
Yeah.
why not bring the joy into it as well?
Oh, of course. Yeah. If you don't love it, then what's the use of doing
Yeah,
it? No,
right.
you
They
gotta
go
have a
get a
passion.
9 to 5 and not love
Yeah.
that too.
Well, getting into the boring stuff, what, when we say boring because, this is where the admin comes in and everything, but going through that process, you're loving this idea at the moment. That's where all the energy is going right now. And, you want to just release that and get it out. What was the process you took with actually saying to yourself, okay, this is what I'm going to be sharing with my audience, whether it be within the course or a program? How did you go through the steps or what were the steps that you went through to get it down?
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I actually just completed teaching a program on this specific thing.
Yeah.
So for me, the first thing was getting clear on what it was that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it, the thing that you want to do? Is it coaching? Is it whatever it is? And I don't know why that one came through. So we'll just run with coaching.
Yeah.
And then from there, like getting specific on who it is that you want to help. Because when you're talking to everyone, you're literally talking to no one. So and I know there's a lot of like stigma in the coaching community or in the online space of like getting clear on your quote soulmate client or niching down.
Yeah.
But when you get clear, then you can get clear on your messaging.
Yeah.
And what I love to do is start with the end in mind. What is a transformation that you want your soulmate client or you want your person to achieve by the end of the time working with you?
Yeah.
And then reverse engineer that. How are you going to get them there? What are the steps? Only you are going to know those steps because they're a unique blueprint to you. So what are those steps that you're going to take to get them there? What is it that you want to include? So for my community as healers, sometimes it's like, okay, I want to do this coaching package, but I really love to do Reiki as well. I'm like, great, bring Reiki into your package. What does that look like? How many calls a month do you want? And getting really clear on the specifics. But it's really that starting with the end in mind and backtracking. What do you want this to look like? What do you want the transformation to be? And then piecing it backwards so you can take them through a transformation process.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is such, good advice right there, because it really is. It does come down to, well, what's your end goal? It's, our why.
Yeah.
It's the why to anything. And, you can apply that to anything that you're putting out there, any content, a blog, even like it's just what's the reason for this? When it came to working with your clients, how did they find you and how did they reach out to you and how did you respond? Like, what was your process of, I shouldn't use the word capturing, but what was your process of, gaining those connections?
Yeah, capturing is a fine word.
Okay.
So I'm a huge fan, and I know this isn't like this was also kind of controversial, I feel, in the online space as well. I'm a huge fan of ads. Yeah. I love running ads. Yeah. So I find a lot of my soulmate clients through ads, through running a free resource. And then so then they're getting some really amazing value through the freebie that they receive and then through the email content as well. They can choose to follow me on Instagram. So that's one way.
Yeah.
And then the process through that is they sign up for the free resource. They receive, now they're on my email list. They're getting emails every, 2 to 3 days or whatever. And they're being provided with a lot of value.
Yeah.
And now they're into my world and now they're able to see how it is that I can support them. And if it is something that they desire to have.
Yeah.
Other ways are Instagram. I love Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And so I put out content several times a week, posts, live, reels, whatever I'm feeling called to do that day or inspired to do that day.
Yep.
I love staying active in stories. And also I feel it's important to be social on social media.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? It's a social platform. So go be human and connect with people it's like connecting with like-minded people that you would really love to be in your world or you would love to be in their world without the intention of trying to sell them something, just to be human.
Just social. Yeah.
So those are my two like real favorite ways, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And look, the first, like you were saying, the lead magnets, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's a given, isn't it? And that's not the only way it should be done. And
Yeah.
you've done it perfectly because, from my perspective anyway, because okay, yeah, there's the ad. That's, to me, that's the admin side. It's like, you've got that rollout that's got to be done, and it's like, hi, I'm here on that platform, being an email, but there has to be that social side of you, and it's building up that trust in you and who you are as a human, being human on
Yeah.
social media, being social.
Right.
That's really good. And with respect to how you share your information, so you've mentioned, obviously, you do videos and reels and so forth in social, but when it comes to your paid programs and everything, how did you find it easy for yourself, based on the topic that the industry that you're in and the topic that you share and so forth? What way do you find is the easiest for you to sort of portray your message across to your paying clients and circle?
I love that. I am a really big believer in trusting the intuition, trusting like what it is that I'm inspired to do. So for me, let me just use an example. When it comes to, like, for example, I have a signature program called the Rising Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I took specific things that I take those clients through and I made them into posts. Of course, they're not going to get the full transformation, but I'm able to share with them, hey, this is what imposter syndrome is. This is how it's showing up in your life and business. And these are a few things that you can do to take steps to be able to get the transformation. And hey, if you want more, here's how you get there, by signing up for the Rising Phoenix, right? And so that's just one example of how I personally feel is a fun way to get information out into the world. Is it fun? What is the transformation? Like, what is it? It goes back to, what is the end goal? Provide them with value and let them know what you have to offer and how they can work with you. Yeah. And for me, that's the case in posts, reels, live, whatever I'm feeling called to do, and stories as well.
And how do you work with them once they are in your program?
So it depends on the program. So I do have like standalone programs where they'll sign up, they'll get access to the program online, they'll be able to log in and be able to tap into that information at their leisure. And then I have one-on-one programs where, once they're in my world, we'll have private Voxer messaging, we'll have 3 calls a month, and they'll also have a healing session. As far as like group coaching, we typically have, like, for the Rising Phoenix, for example, that would be like a Facebook group and a group Voxer thread, which is private messaging support in between calls. And then we have weekly calls and then a healing session once a month. And so it really depends on what it is. And I love having that. Right. I love having that variety. And it didn't start like this.
No, I wouldn't have.
Right. It was one-on-one sessions, like, one-time coaching sessions or just my one-on-one coaching. And now it's a library of offers that I've grown and allowed myself to bring into the world over time.
Yeah. And that's a pure example of evolution in this type of world of sharing your knowledge online and inspiring others through coaching or mentoring, whatever it is that you're doing. Because we do think, okay, well, we'll start small, one-on-one, and then it becomes one-to-many, and then it's like, hang on a minute, I can't physically be there all the time, so we've got to give them something else to learn from. So you create content online so they can access it and so forth. And it's a pure example. You're a pure example of the evolution of it, and it's great to see how you've evolved as well, and putting yourself out there. I think that's one of the things that you do everything. You're doing everything that you should be doing. Like, I think so many of us are just like, I want to offer this, but I don't want to put myself out there. But you kind of have to.
Yes.
I think people forget that as well. With what you do, which is spiritual healing, helping those healers out there. This world of all and I keep mentioning it, the admin side of things, like the boring side of things. I
Yeah.
get it because it can be quite boring. It's like, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be concentrating on this. How do you get your members who are of that mindset of just wanting to just share and support others to actually knuckle down and plan and do these things? Because you did mention, you explained to them that's the end goal. That's what you've got to do. But how do you get them into that mindset of, okay, you have to do the stuff that isn't the fun stuff? How do you get
Yeah.
them into that area?
So first of all, we are the CEOs of our own company. It is our responsibility to do the thing or
Mm,
hire someone to do the thing. And sometimes we just need to, most of the time, I would say we just need to hire before we're ready. I'm not saying go spend some astronomical price on, whatever,
yeah.
but it's great to be supported. Can like, even if you hire a VA at like 5 hours a week or something in the beginning to do some of the stuff that you're just like, ooh, that's a no for me.
Mm,
Great.
mm,
Give it to someone that's their zone of genius. Otherwise, I feel it is beneficial to learn the ins and outs of your business, though.
exactly.
I think there's a lot of value placed on learning how to set up your own schedule and create links to be able to send out to people to like Calendly or whatever it is that you use
Yeah.
to book,
Yeah.
to figure out how to use PayPal or send invoices or whatever that looks like for someone.
Mm,
And and also for me running ads, like there will be eventually a day where I will hire someone to just take that over for me. Right now, I
yeah.
love to create that myself and I've learned it. And so now I know what to look for.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of value. And so I feel it's like just learning one thing at a time, setting up that foundation, and then remembering that you are the CEO of your company and allowing yourself to build that solid foundation and then get to a point where you're just like, okay, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but now I'm going to hire someone that this is their zone of genius so I can stay in my zone of genius.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that, what is the biggest win that you've had through this whole process based on your zone of genius?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say what is coming up for me is that word evolution again, is
Mm-hmm.
that permission to allow myself to evolve unapologetically
Yeah.
and to step into the space that I feel that I know I'm supposed to be at any given time.
Yeah.
This may change in a couple years, or
Yeah.
it may change in 1 year, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But allowing myself to take up space where it is that I
Mm,
know that I'm meant to take up space right now.
yeah. Good answer. I like that. We all have to be open for evolution. That's the whole reason why we're doing this to a degree. Some people are
Correct.
happy just, sticking to that, that space and, not expanding out further. And that's all, fine for them. That's how it works for them. But no, I like that answer. It's really good. What are you best known for?
The one thing that people say to me all the time is, I love your energy.
Mm,
I love your energy. And I'm like, okay, it makes me laugh because I'm very intentional about my energy.
yeah.
But I would say that's what I'm best known for is the energy and as well as the space that I'm able to hold for someone as they're going through their own transformation.
Yeah. And that leads me to the next question then. What legacy are you looking to leave? Personal, business?
Mm, that is another really great question. This has actually been on my heart and mind a lot the past couple weeks, so it doesn't surprise me that it's coming up. But for me, the legacy that I want to leave is, and this one I know is a really big one, but is that at the end of my time on earth, that I know that I stepped out of my own way. I stepped into my own evolution and supported the raise in the consciousness of the planet to truly help people heal. There are different ways that I know that this is going to happen, but
Mhm.
for me, it's that support in helping people unbecome and just unshackle themselves so they can step in their full power and potential as well.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah.
Unshackle themselves. I like that.
Unshackle.
That's very good. And do you have an offer that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, I have a free Magnetize Your Soulmate client meditation that is infused with my very own intuitive quantum healing. And this is a guided, I want to say it's around 12-minute meditation for you to pop in. It's amazing to do as an entrepreneur because we know we're doing all the admin, the boring stuff, and the showing up on social media and the building, and also taking that time to go within and really allow yourself to drop in and be with yourself, receive a healing, and visualize. That's where the manifestation comes in as well, to visualize those soulmate clients making their way into your world.
Awesome. Well, Kristen, you've been amazing to chat to today. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And for Kristen's offer, it'll be on our podcast summary below. Be sure to click on the link and don't forget to subscribe to the Wise Dome podcast. And again, Kristen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun chatting with you.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to the Wise Dome podcast. If you enjoyed and have been inspired by this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, do subscribe and please share it with others. Post about us on social media or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, Nikki Kelly, you can follow me on Instagram at Wise Dome Podcast, WISEDOME Podcast. I'm Nikki Kelly. Thanks again, and we'll catch up next time.